morning and welcome to another vlog. We're going to spend the day together. It's Monday the 19th of January. So the first thing I'm going to do is dye my roots, and then later on this morning we're going to go to a village called Thorpeness, which is about 2 or 3 miles down the road. I'm going to take you around the village. It's really pretty, but also we're going to look at some properties which are at risk of falling into the sea because there is a terrible coastal erosion going on. And one of the properties that we actually looked at last year, not that we were really thinking of buying it because it was very run down, has had to be demolished, which is so sad. But it is a really pretty village and I like to show it to you, and it's also where we bought our new dining table. So we're going to spend the day together. It's supposed to be a lovely day, cold but sunny. So it should be ideal for showing you around Thorpeness. So let's get cracking. The first thing I'm going to do is dye my roots. Do fast forward if this isn't of interest to you, of course. But some of you have asked me about how I dye my roots. So I thought I'd show you. And also, I'm always leaving out the back bit. And I end up with some grey here. So I've got to be really careful that I don't... not that it matters terribly, to be honest. And who noticed it really? Only my hairdresser. But I want to make sure that I don't leave these out. So we're going to attack those in a minute. But the first thing I do is I get my rubber gloves and I'm going to mix the solution. Now I use a brand called Cetuem, which a friend of mine recommended a few years ago. Well, it was during COVID actually when I started doing my own roots. And it's really gentle because I have had issues with allergies, or at least stinging, with certain brands, although not the one my hairdresser uses. But he said last time I went that he didn't think I needed the rest of my colour doing at all. He thought it was just fine to keep doing the roots. So I'm happy to do them at home because I hate sitting in the hairdressers for 2 hours. It's just, I just can't bear it. So I'm very happy to do my own. So what I've got is a plastic bowl, plastic spoon and plastic brush. These two I got from Amazon. And then I've got the developing solution. This is kind of the peroxide. This is the cream peroxide. And then I've got my colours. Now I'm going to use, which one did I use last time? Dark blonde. Dark blonde was what I used to use. Lightest ash blonde. I used this last time, I think. Actually, I know what I did. I mixed lightest ash blonde with medium ash blonde. But I think I might just be bold and use lightest ash blonde, because, or shall I? No, maybe I'll mix the two together actually now. I don't want to go too pale. So what I do is I put a tablespoon or thereabouts of the dye, so about that much, and then an equal part of the peroxide. So I'm actually going to do 1 tablespoon of each, and it's not an exact science, obviously, but as long as you end up with, and I'll show you the bowl in a sec, as long as you end up with a nice creamy mixture, that's what you're aiming for. So it doesn't have to be exactly right. So that's probably not quite 2 tablespoons. I'll show you what I mean. So that's kind of what I'm putting in. So that's about what I'm putting in, 2 of those. And then I'm going to shake this. So here we're going to go, so I'm not going to quite fill the spoon, and we'll do 2 of those and that should do the trick. And I'm going to mix it together to get a nice cream. Now back in the day, before I had my hair dyed all over, I used to do my roots for 30 minutes and then I would put the colour on for the last 15 minutes all over my hair. That was when I was still dark. But now, of course, I don't need to do that. It's literally just 45 minutes on the roots. And that's it. So there we are. Can you see that's a nice creamy texture or creamy mixture? And that is what we're going to use on the roots. So I'm going to start at the back because I always forget. Now it is guesswork because I don't have a mirror behind me, so I have to guess that I'm doing them properly. But basically what I do, I'm going to see if I can show you. I'm just going to do partings all the way down and then just do the roots. Maybe not quite as small partings as that, but that's the idea. So take a bit on the brush, like so, and then just going to feel my way, feel where my scalp is. I'm just going to bend down. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this. Like that. Okay, and then we're going to do the next bit. I probably won't do all the way down at this point because I need to do the front, but here I'm going to go again. This will be instructive for me as well if I can actually see what I'm doing behind my head. And then we're going to start to do the front. This is what I usually do. So we'll start here. I mean, there's not a lot of grey going on, is there? It's not too bad, but there is a bit, and I always like to do it before I go to the hairdressers in case he's got any suggestions about whether he thinks I need anything on the rest of my hair. But I mean, the colour looks really good. It's certainly kept, so I must have quite a bit of grey going on. So then we're just doing the roots here. And I'm going to go down this side and then down the other side, and then I'll finish off the back. Right, I think that's done it. So let's put everything up into a lovely attractive top knot. Right, there we are. Now we've got to leave that for 45 minutes, so I will see you after I've had my cold shower. So this is the approach from the car park. How beautiful does the sea look today? It's not too lively, but it is quite cold today. It's only 7 degrees at the moment. But it is fantastic to be by the sea, and the sun is trying to break out. It's kind of semi-hidden behind a cloud. So let's see how far we can get along the beach. Whew. No one about. I did see some people. Oh, actually, there are some people over there. So I'm not completely alone. My husband said, do not go too close to the edge. So I said, don't worry, I won't. Actually, I wonder if I could walk on the garden. It's always tricky walking on shingles, but there isn't much else that you can walk on, really. Now at the moment we're relatively level in terms of the houses. The houses are not on a kind of cliff top, but the houses that are at risk of coastal erosion are higher up. So I'm assuming we're going to have to climb soon. Yes, it looks like it's getting a bit higher up over there. So we'll see how we get on. If not, we might just have to drive to the road where the houses are at risk, but I don't think we'll be able to get down to the beach from there, so we'll have to see how we go. But look at that beautiful sea. Oh, actually look, the sky is beautifully blue here, so it's doing its best. I think ahead of me is where it starts to get bad, because you can see the waves are really crashing against the rocks, and I think that that's where the erosion really kicks in. Right, we're going to turn back because we can't seem to go any further. So what I'm going to do is get back in the car and we'll drive to the road that's affected and see what we can see there. Right, I think what we'll do actually, as I've parked in the car park and paid for it, all £2.50 or whatever it was, we'll go and have a coffee first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the Emporium, which is attached to the cafe, which is where we got our table. So let's go and do that. And then we will go on to look at the private road where the properties are. A huge scone. Couldn't really talk to you in there because it was quite noisy, busy, lots of dogs. So we're going to get back in the car, and what we'll do is we'll drive to the private road and see what we can see there, and some of the houses that have been demolished. And I might also show you the house that we nearly bought last year. I'm sorry I didn't get out of the car in Thorpeness village itself. It was actually quite cold and a bit sort of dank, and I didn't really feel like wandering about. But I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the village. If you don't know Thorpeness, it is a village that was, well, there was a village there called Thorpe, and then the village of Thorpeness was created by this sort of benefactor, wealthy man who was, I think, a friend of J.M. Barrie, the Peter Pan author. And his son sort of took it on and developed it into a holiday village, effectively for wealthy people at the turn of the last century. So it has a lot of mock Tudor houses, and it has some weird sort of turrety houses as well. It's got this house in the sky, which I wasn't able to get near this time. I'll have to show you one day. I'll insert a picture. It's a very odd structure. It's a bit like I think it is a water tower. But there are one or two other sort of turrety buildings there as well. And actually the house we were going to buy last year was called the Turret House, still is. It's the one that's got the CAT sign outside of some scaffolding. And so I'm glad we didn't get that. That was a holiday home, or at least it was a second home. It was really nice inside. It doesn't look like much from the outside, but it was very nice. But the owners didn't tell us until the last minute, just as we'd made our final offer, our final and best offer, that they were going to build at the back of the gardens on some land that they owned, which we weren't aware of. We thought it belonged to the house next door. Turned out it belonged to the house itself, but they'd kind of sectioned it off, and they were going to build a bungalow on it, and we didn't want to live with that because we'd lived with that in our previous house and we'd had to tussle with the previous owner. So we didn't want to go through that again. So we didn't buy it, and I'm glad about that. But the other house that we looked at, although we weren't really seriously considering it, but we did think it might have been a possibility, only because making a big decision to spend a lot of money on the house we're in, we thought it would be sort of due diligence, if you like, to just check out whether there were any other houses, now we're here in Aldborough, that we could buy rather than spend a little bit more money on that rather than spend all the money on this house. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so we went to look at this house, and it's this one. I'm inserting a picture now, and we went to see it about 3 weeks ago, and it was such a coincidence because it actually had been on the TV on a programme called Celebrity Escape to the Country, which, if you're outside the UK, it's a long-running programme, Escape to the Country, where 3 houses are shown to a prospective buyer or couple. And in this instance, it was Celebrity Escape to the Country, celebrity being quite a loose term, as we know. But the celebrity in question was Janet Street Porter, who, if you are my age and you're British, you will know, is a well-known journalist who is probably in her mid-70s, and she did study architecture. So actually the programme where she's looking around houses is really interesting because she's got an architect, I think, or interior designer with her. So it was fascinating to watch her go around this house, which we didn't know anything about at the time. No, I think we did know about it, that's right, because it was next door to another house that we've seen that has since been demolished. Anyway, this is all a very long-winded way of saying that we went to see this house. It was absolutely beautiful inside. You wouldn't have had to do a thing to it. But it's right on the edge of the cliff and is in danger of falling into the sea, and is in danger, in fact, of being demolished. So I feel so sorry for the owners, because they have obviously put a lot of money and a lot of thought and a lot of effort into this beautiful house, and it's at risk of being demolished. Who knows? It could be next month, it could be next year, it could be in 20 years. But given that the house next door, which was actually falling apart anyway, was only demolished, I think, in November of last year, who knows how long this one is going to last. It's terribly sad, really, really sad. So all that to say, I think we're very relieved that we didn't buy in Thorpeness in the first place. We're happy in Aldborough. We're going to stay put, and we're going to get cracking on this house. I can't keep talking about it, but we are. Now, the one thing I want to update you on is the bathroom. And I think I mentioned in my last vlog that I was concerned that the bathroom company were going to come back with a really expensive rough quote, and they have done. So that's where we're at with the bathroom. So not a huge amount of progress, but a little bit, because they did kindly draw up these plans for us. So at least I've got an idea of where things can go and that things can actually fit in, like a shower. So that's fine. Now, talking of bathrooms, I wanted to tell you, in fact, I wanted to update you about my cold shower situation. I think I might have mentioned a couple of weeks ago with the Michael Mosley book, The Just One Thing, that I thought I would try having a cold shower. Well, I'm 3 weeks in, if you please. How about that? And what I've decided to do is so that I can time myself very roughly, because Michael Mosley says don't do more than a minute. I thought, well, what can I do? Maybe I can sing, because that's another thing that he suggests doing that's really good for your endorphins, is to sing every day. So I thought I'll sing in the shower and then I'll time myself. So I timed myself today and I think I'm about 40 seconds in. And what I'm doing is I'm singing this very song. They try to make me go to rehab. I said no, no, no. Yes, I've been black, but when I come back, you'll know, no, no. I ain't got the time, and if my daddy thinks I'm fine, they try to make me go to rehab. I won't go, go, go. And I think that's about 15 seconds already. And I've started to click my fingers like this and move around in the shower so that I'm not static and it feels slightly more jolly than just standing there like a lemon thinking, oh, I want this to end. So that's been really good. So I'm in week 3. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that one of my lovely friends on YouTube called Linda of New Age Beauty, she has created an app for tracking your habits, your beauty habits and your health habits in particular, but it could be anything really, but your habits that you want to adopt and give you some kind of structure. So I've logged on, I've created my account, and I'll put some images up so that you can see what it looks like. And I'm going to track my cold showers, I'm going to track my weight training, which of course I haven't done any of yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to track my microcurrent device usage, and I'm going to track my cold shower. Did I say that? Yeah, so cold shower, microcurrent, creatine, that's the other thing, which I've stopped taking for a little while just because I've had a bit of a funny tummy. I've had the collie wobbles, I think we used to call it back in the day. So I wasn't sure, I don't think it is the creatine, but just to be sure, I've stopped taking it for a little while. I'm going to start again. So yes, cold shower, creatine, microcurrent and weight training. Anyway, I'm going to start slowly and gradually. And I thought it was a really clever idea. And may I say, Linda is a little bit older than me. I'm sure she won't mind me saying this. I think she's 75. Anyway, she's in her 70s, that's the point. And she's created this app on her own. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm so impressed. And it looks gorgeous. It's really easy to use. So I'll put the details down below for you in case you want to have a go. But I think it's a great idea. And like she was saying when she was explaining it to a few of us who are in this little group together, that it really helps for those of us who are retired to give some structure to our day. So we can say, let's say we're going to do microcurrent zip halo, for example, 4 times a day at such a time. And we're going to remember to take our creatine, because I actually have to put the big jar right next to the kettle, otherwise I forget to take it. So we can put that in. I brought the hand weights downstairs and put them next to the kettle as well, but have I picked them up yet? No. So I think it's a really great idea, and like I say, I'll leave the details down below for you, and it's completely free. So definitely worth a punt if you're someone who struggles to stick to their habits. Right, I must get on with my day. I've been very remiss. I've got a long to-do list. Never mind the habit list. I've got some to-dos to do, as it were. So I'll see you a bit later, probably late afternoon, early evening for an update. And by the way, just a quickie, my hair's looking quite good. I'm very pleased with my roots. I think I've done a good job. Let me just turn around and you can tell me whether I've missed a bit. Right, I'll see you in a bit. So it is the end of the day. It's about 6 o'clock. It always feels so much later when it gets dark early, although things are improving and it's not really getting dark till around 4:30, but still. And I just wanted to round off the day, first of all, by saying, coincidentally and very sadly as well, in the British Times today, there's a whole article about all those properties that have either been demolished or are going to be demolished in Thorpeness. Now, moving on, let me just tell you what makeup I'm wearing, because I'm really quite pleased with how it's lasted. So the only thing I've touched is my lips. My lipstick obviously came off, and in fact, I wasn't even wearing lipstick. I was wearing Fox from Merit, which is what I've got on my cheeks as well. I just thought I'd slick it over my lips, and I rather liked it. But that's not what I've got on now. I've got the Dr. Sam lip. I can never remember the name of it. Flawless Lip or something like that, which is a really good lip balm, actually. Very, very good. Now, I've not put a foundation on. I used 2 of the Maxine's Revenge concealers. I used I used light medium beige for my complexion, and I used light beige under my eyes, and I just applied it with a sponge. Having done a whole video with brushes, I thought, well, actually for applying it on my complexion, I thought I'm just going to use a damp beauty sponge. So that's what I used. I then followed it with the Hourglass Vanish translucent light powder, which looks like this. Hit pan on that quite a while ago, actually. And I used a puff. I didn't use a brush. I didn't use a brush today at all, actually. Don't tell anyone. And I've got the Nars eyeshadow stick. I'll link everything down below for you, by the way, just in case you want to know what shade this is, because I can't remember. It'll probably be some rude name, like all the Nars shades are. I don't know why they do that. It's so annoying, isn't it? I mean, what do they think we are? Sex mad or something? I don't know. And then we've got the Sky High Mascara by Maybelline. I think this is the black one. And as per usual, I've got the Laura Mercier brow pencil. Now, one of my lovely subscribers mentioned that I ought to think about changing the colour of my brows to go a bit lighter. If you've got any suggestions on light pencils, sorry, I shouldn't point this at you, but if you have, I think it's quite difficult to find any that are much lighter than this, because this is actually called blonde, and yet, of course, as you can see, whoops, that's the wrong end. It's not really blonde at all, it's brown. That's not blonde, is it? However, I don't think it's too bad because my hairline is, well, now I've done my roots, I suppose it's not that dissimilar to my roots. But let me know if you know of any other pencils that you think might be appropriate. Now, I want to ask your opinion about something else as well, because I want to do another concealer wear test video. And I need to know what concealers you would like me to test. Now, I think that actually with mature eyes, I don't think that pot concealers are really the thing. I think they're a bit too thick, even the Glossier. So I think we might dispense with these for now. Anyway, I'm not saying I'm giving them up, but I don't think we'll use these for the test. Now, what I thought we'd do is I thought we would try the Maxine's Revenge French Face concealers, because I haven't pitted them against any other concealers so far. And I do have a discount code, by the way, if you are interested in trying it anyway. For now, it's down below in the description box. I've got a couple of new ones, of affordable ones. I've got the NYX Bear With Me, and I've got the e.l.f. Soft Glam. So I thought we could add those to the mix. So we could do these two, plus French Face. And then I thought we could also do House Labs. How many is that? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 with the French Face. So I thought we could do House Labs as well, because I don't think I've tested that against any other concealers. I don't think I have, because I think my last video was last year, about this time, maybe March actually. So I don't think I had that. And then the other one I thought we could do was the Estee Lauder, because I made a really big mistake last year when I did my concealer video. I actually got hold of the old Estee Lauders, not the new as they were then, the new Estee Lauders. So I thought we could possibly do them. And then the other one I was thinking of doing, I mean, this list is getting really too long probably, but let me know in the comments, because the other one I was thinking about was going back to the famous Nars creamy concealer, because I can get hold of a mini, which I thought I might try. But if you've got any other concealers that you would like me to try, please let me know, because what I could do possibly is the affordables in one video and the high ends in another. Or I could do, although I don't know, is that any good to you? I don't know. Let me know, because I'd really, sorry, I'm rattling around. Let me know, because I'd love to hear your thoughts about concealers. I think they are the trickiest of all the makeup products. I really do. I just find them such a struggle. And I think because I have eye bags, I never really thought about this. This is this ex-friend of mine last year who said I had eye bags, and had I ever thought of sorting them out. In fact, some lovely person who was watching me the other day mentioned my eye bags as well. And unfortunately, I do have them, because they are sort of pillowy bits of skin under here. And anything I can do to minimise those is great. And I do think actually the last couple of days since I did that video on brushes, I've gone back to using, I'm just now dissing my entire video of brushes. I've started using a powder puff for my under eyes again, and pressed powder. So I don't know. Anyway, let me know in the comments what concealers you would like me to test. And I will plan to do that in the next probably 4 weeks or so, something like that. Obviously, it requires quite a lot of planning because I have to test each concealer for one day. So let me know in the comments and let's have a chat about that. And I hope you've all had a good week. It's Monday as I record this. I've got loads going on this week. Tomorrow we've got rug cleaners coming. That's very exciting. Can't wait to get them done. Nothing much happening on Wednesday, but I will be prepping for my trip to London on Thursday. So Thursday I go to London early on the 8:15, I think. Come back on Friday on the 4 o'clock. And then on Saturday we've got the Kaylee, which I'm really looking forward to, and the dinner. So lots going on this week, all very exciting. So I hope your week is looking good and you're feeling good. And thank you so much for watching these ramblings. I don't know, do you like them? I hope you do, because I love chatting to you like this. It's so much more relaxed than doing the sort of big set piece of a video on the Sunday, which I love doing and I want to do them. It's not that I don't love doing them, but I do get nervous, as I mentioned, that something's going to go pear-shaped, and it usually does. Whereas here we're much more informal, we can chat and it doesn't matter whether I've got any makeup on or not. So I love that informality, I really do. And so if you have enjoyed this, I assume you have subscribed, because I can't imagine you'd happen on this video without having subscribed, but who knows. But if you haven't, I'd be so grateful if you'd consider doing so and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I have my monthly newsletter, which will be coming out towards the end of January. So if you want to subscribe to that, please do. That's also in the description box. And I hope everybody's doing really well. Thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to seeing you for my next video on Sunday. Bye.